Good evening and welcome to network. Please confirm, can you see my screen? Confirm in the comments. I'm having troubles with my network, so I just want to be sure that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Okay. Lami says all clear. All right. Thank you so much for confirming. I'm having network problems, so I just wanted to be sure that everything is clear. So we are going to start now since there's a confirmation that everything is clear. So today we are going to talk about the Mauritius-Africa scholarship, which is the scholarship that I am currently under. This is the scholarship that I was awarded to do my PhD. So I am going to share with you my application journey, my experience in applying for the scholarship. Thank you, Tuso, for confirming. I am going to share from my experience, so I didn't feel like it was. I'll be sharing what I experienced as I was applying for the scholarship. So as usual, let us know who is here. You can wave, you can raise your hand, you can send a hello on chat, and I'll display your comment on the screen. All right, so now let's get started. We are going to first start with how I discovered the scholarship. Initially, I knew nothing about the scholarship. I didn't know that there was the Mauritius-Africa scholarship until someone shared the link in one of the WhatsApp groups that I'm part of. So I saw the advert. They actually shared the advert, not the link. So not when the scholarship is released, they share an advert with all the information for applicants. So I saw that advert in one of the WhatsApp group that I'm part of, and I started reading the requirements. It was quite interesting because at the time when I saw the advert, I had never heard of the Mauritius-Africa scholarship before. So I didn't know about the scholarship. Hello, Utusite, thank you for joining. So I got interested, and then I started reading the requirements of the scholarship. I was interested in applying for PhD because I already have my undergraduate and my master's degree. So I was interested in applying for PhD. I started reading what the requirements for a PhD were. And one of the requirements for PhD application was to write a research proposal. So it was a requirement to write a research proposal to apply for both admission at universities and for the scholarship. So I started working on my research proposal. That was in 2021. So it was not really a challenge to write a research proposal because I already knew what I wanted to do. I already knew what I wanted to research on. It's something that I have been working on. I had been trying to apply for scholarships, so I was readily available. So I didn't have any challenges with writing a research proposal. So it was ready. I just needed to refine it and make sure that it makes sense for the scholarship. So since my research proposal was ready, maybe for you, let me point out that if you're applying for PhD or you're applying for MPhil, you will be required to write a research proposal. So MPhil, the difference between MPhil and Masters is that MPhil is research-based. So MPhil is like a bridge towards PhD. It's like when you are applying for, when you want to do a PhD and they feel like you don't have enough experience, you don't have enough research experience to go directly into PhD, then you are required to do an MPhil, and then when you pass your MPhil, then you can do PhD. So both for MPhil and PhD, normally a research proposal is a requirement because you'll be doing research. So you need to propose what you are going to research on. So after writing my research proposal, I had to find university. As I read the requirements, there was a list of universities that were eligible for the scholarship. So you need to be careful with this one. It's not for all the universities. You cannot apply to a private university and expect to be funded by the scholarship. It doesn't cover private universities. Private universities like Middlesex, Curtin, those are private universities, but you need. I have a full training on the application process and a list of public universities that you can apply to. So if you need like a detailed training with some guides and some in the video description to sign up for the training. So you find video modules, you also find some guides to help you with your application. You'll find more detailed information. Today, I'm just sharing my experience so that it can maybe help you. Maybe you are not sure whether you should apply for the scholarship or not. By sharing my experience, I hope it will inspire you or it will help you to make an informed decision of whether you want to continue with the application or you just want to focus on other scholarships. Because I know not a lot of us wake up and say they want to study in Mauritius. A lot of students, they want to go to Europe, they want to go to Canada, they want to go to America. So in very rare cases, do you find an applicant or a student saying, I want to go to Mauritius. It was the same case for me. I didn't wake up and say, I want to study in Mauritius, but I saw the scholarship, I saw the opportunity, and then I went for it. So it was not something that I planned. It was not pre-planned, but I saw the advert and I got interested and I applied. So it might be the case for you. Maybe after hearing about the scholarship or after hearing about my experience, you might be inspired or motivated to apply for the scholarship. You never know. This could be a life-changing experience or opportunity for you. So the next step that I did was to find a public university to apply to. I didn't like spend a lot of time on this. I just found the top universities. I started with the University of Mauritius, but I couldn't find what I was looking for. So I went on to the University of Technology. I only checked two universities actually. I didn't like go through the whole list of all the available universities. So I started with the University of Mauritius. I just couldn't figure out where my program is, what to apply for. And then I went to the University of Technology. It's also a public university. So I did counseling. So I saw that they had MSc mental health. I was not applying for masters, remember, but since they had MSc mental health, I'm interested in mental health for higher education students. So I thought, okay, they might have a PhD in the same field. So I reached out to the university to find out if I can do a PhD in mental health for higher education students. And I was told to submit my application. So this is how I found my university. So in your case, maybe it might be different. Just see, sometimes on the advert, they list the universities that will be sponsored for that cycle or for that intake. So you can check those universities, go to the website and see if they have. And if you are not sure, find an email for the admissions committee and reach out and find out more so that you can have the right information before you start your application. I hope we are still together. Are you still there? Let me know if you are still there. I hope I'm not talking to myself. And then after finding a university, after deciding that I'm going to apply to the University of Technology, then the next step was to find a supervisor. So when you are applying for MPhil or for PhD, you need to identify a research supervisor before you can start your application, because you will need supervision throughout your studies. You need supervision throughout your research studies. So the requirement is that you should have secured a supervisor or supervisors, one or two, and those people should have agreed to take on to take you as their supervisee or to take you as their student. So you need to make sure that this is finalized um, before you start your application. So what I did was, since I had already written my research proposal, I strongly advise that you write your research proposal before you reach out to these professors or these lecturers. Okay, thank you, Utusite. You are still together. So I suggest that you write your research proposal first before you can reach out to them. So when you reach out, you have something that they can look at that can help them to decide whether they want to work with you or not. So I had my research proposal ready. So I went through, on the university website, they have a list of all the lecturers in different departments, all the lecturers that are teaching at that particular university. You can always go to the official website under staff and go through the list, find the department that aligns with what you are interested in, and then under that department, see the profiles of the professors or the lecturers that are listed under that department. Read and understand what their area of focus in, what is it that they are teaching on, what is it that they did, so that it will give you an idea. Don't just approach anyone. Don't just pick randomly and approach anyone, because if you do that, then you are likely the person that you approach will agree to, they might decline. So you need to be strategic when you are selecting your potential supervisor. Pick someone who is in the same field as you, or who is in the field that is almost similar to your field, and then you can send them an email, introduce yourself. I introduced myself. Sorry, there's a motorbike. I introduced myself, told them I am interested in doing PhD in this and this, attached my research proposal for reference. So for me, it was a smooth process. I didn't hustle. I didn't struggle with securing a supervisor. So the two people, I picked two lecturers. The two people that I reached out to were very happy to work with me. After reading my research proposal, they just said, yes, we'll work with you. We are interested in working with you. So it was not much of a hassle for me. So they confirmed that they would take me as their student, and then they wrote an email or a letter to confirm that they will be my supervisor. So you need to make sure that you get confirmation in writing from these people to confirm that indeed letter, but you need to have like some kind of evidence so that you can also submit it with your scholarship application to indeed show that you have secured supervision for your research studies. So that's how I found my supervisor. And then the next step was university application. So I've written my research proposal. Supervisors. I secured two supervisors. I'm still working with them even to date. So the next thing was to apply for admission. So after you've done the first steps, the next thing is to apply for university admission. You need to apply for admission. So at the time when I was applying in 2021, there was no online application at the University of Technology. I didn't make an online application. I applied through email. So on the website, I read and listed all the documents that were required. I gathered all the documents. They also required an application fee. So I had to go to my bank because most of the bank, the Mauritian currency is like very low. It's like seriously super low. So my bank, there was a challenge with me making a transaction, and remember I didn't apply online, so there was no like that provision to process your payment online. So I had to go to my bank and make forex transaction, like an international transaction. So I paid equivalent of dollars. So if you're having challenges with making your payment for your application fee, just know that sometimes it might be because you cannot transact from your currency to the Mauritian rupee. So you might need to pay an equivalent in dollars. So I processed the payment at the bank in dollars, and then I attached the proof of payment as part of my application. So I attached all the documents that were required, and then I sent through email to the admissions committee. There is a comment, let me see. Oh, hi, Tato. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. So in addition to applying through email, I was also required to send my documents by DHL. So at the time I was in Botswana, remember? So the same documents that I sent through email, I sent them through DHL. It took about 5 working days for the documents to reach the university. For some reason, my application took almost a year to be processed. I applied in 2021. I only got a response in 2022. I don't know why it took so long, but when I was following up, they would tell me that my research proposal is still with the research committee, it's still being processed with the research committee. But the good thing is that with the scholarship, even if you don't have an admission yet, you can still apply for the scholarship. So if you are currently applying or if you plan to apply, don't worry about the admission. Just make sure that you meet the deadline of the scholarship so that you don't miss the cycle. Make sure that you submit your university application, because when you apply for the scholarship, they require an admission letter or an acknowledgement letter. So acknowledgement letter is confirmation that indeed you have sent your application for admission to the university. So if I think the scholarship closes in March. So if by March you have not tried, get an acknowledgement letter to confirm that indeed you have sent through your application. And then you can send that acknowledgement letter with your scholarship application so that you don't miss the deadline for the scholarship. Hi, Onks. Thank you for joining from Molepolole, Botswana. Thank you. Okay. That there's our refueler, truly motivated to go out there and apply. Yes. Please go out there and apply. You have to send through your application. You never know what's waiting for you on the other side. So you need to send through your application. Okay, so that's that with the university application. I finally got my admission almost a year. I think it's because I was applying for PhD. They were telling me that my research proposal was still with the research committee. You know, when you apply for PhD, your proposal has to be sent to the committee to see if your research is feasible, if your research is practical, if your research is sensible. So it can go through some stages, but I don't think that's the case for masters, unless you're applying for MPhil, because it's also research. So that's how I applied for admission, and then I used an acknowledgement letter. At the time the scholarship was closing, I didn't have an admission, so I used acknowledgement letter to apply for the scholarship. So that's the university application. And then the next thing was the admission. So I started first by applying for admission at the university, right? And then I got the acknowledgement letter, and that was in 2021. So I applied for the my door is open, so in 2021, but I didn't hear from the scholarship. I don't know what happened. For the 2021 cycle, I didn't get like a rejection email or rejection letter. I just didn't get any response for the scholarship. So I was okay, maybe something happened. Then 2022, I applied again. I missed the 2021 cycle. Not that I missed, I did apply, but I didn't get any feedback or response. Maybe it's because my admission was still being processed. I don't know. But 2022, I applied again. No, the scholarship is normally announced around December or January. Like for 2024, it was released around towards the end of December or January, around this time, around February. I applied for the scholarship. So the scholarship is open. I think it will close next month in March. So in 2022, I applied for the scholarship around this time. And at the time when I was applying, I still didn't have an admission from the university, but I had my acknowledgement letter. So I applied with my acknowledgement letter. I applied for the scholarship in February. So, and then I head back at the ship. Please understand that you have to apply through a nominating agency. So the scholarship works with nominating agencies in eligible country. Like in Botswana, we have our Department of Tertiary Education Funding, DTF. So those are the ones who handle the application for Mauritius. Those are the ones who receive the application. They are the nominating agency. So in your country, I don't know where you are from, maybe the Ministry of Education might be the nominating agency. You need to find out the nominating agency. Do not apply directly for the scholarship because your application will not be considered. So I took all my documents, the required documents for the scholarship. I sent them to DTF, the nominating agency. So what happens is that you send your application to the nominating agency, and then the nominating agency has to select individuals for each category, like maybe PhD, select, I don't know if it's 5 students, masters, 5 students, undergraduate, 5 students. So from select the best or the most qualifying candidates, and then they send the names to the Ministry of Education in Mauritius. So you are not supposed to send your application here in Mauritius. You are supposed to send your application to the nominating agency. And if the nominating agency selects you, they will notify you. They will let you know that you have been selected and your name has been sent to Mauritius. So when your name and documents reach Mauritius, then your application is reviewed, and if you are successful, they will communicate directly with you. They will inform you that you have been selected. I don't know if they inform if you are unsuccessful. I was successful, so I don't know. So that's how you make your application through your nominating agency. Your nominating agency has to release an advert to say they are now receiving applications on behalf of the Mauritius-Africa scholarship, and then you can go apply. Normally, sometimes nominating agencies release the adverts late, so you need to be ahead of time. Already you know that the scholarship is out, the advert is there. What you need to do is start preparing the documents that are required, start applying for admission. Don't wait for your nominating agency to announce for applications. You start preparing for the application so that when they open, when the nominating agency opens for applications, you are ready to submit, because sometimes they might open for a week or 2. And if you didn't prepare well in advance, you might not be ready to submit or meet the application deadline. Because nominating agencies have their own deadlines. They put their own deadlines to have received applications from you. And then there's a deadline, there's like the official deadline for the scholarship. And then their nominating agencies put their own deadlines, and that deadline is normally earlier than the official deadline. I think they do that so that they have enough time to process the applications and send before the deadline. So you need to start preparing now. So like I said, if you are successful, they'll send you an email. They sent me an email in May. I applied in February 2022. May, I got selected for the scholarship. I received my award letter. at the same time, I also received admission from the university. I received two separate emails at the same time. So this shows that the ministry probably works directly with universities. So that's why you need to apply for admission and use your acknowledgement letter. So once you are selected, then you apply for student permit. You don't apply for student permit yourself. The university will apply on your behalf. So there are some documents that you need to send to the university, and then they'll process the student permit for you. So there are some tests that you need to do in order to get the permit, and those tests have to be negative. One of them is HIV. I'm not sure if it's syphilis, and then the chest TB. So you need to do those tests, and then they have to be negative. So what happens is that you do those tests in your home country, and then if they are negative, you get like a 3 months temporary student permit that allows you to enter the island, that allows you to enter. You have to redo the test again to prove your results. The same test that you did when you were in your country, you have to do them when you arrive in Mauritius. And if they are negative, then you get like a long-term student permit based on the duration of your studies. But if they are positive, then you'll be given 2 weeks notice to leave the island. So that's how it works with the student permit. So if you want all the details, like what documents are required, what tests you need to do, then please sign up for the training. You'll find all the information. For the purpose of this session is to give you an idea of what you go through when you apply for the scholarship. But if you need detailed information like how to apply, what to do, then you sign up for the training. The link is there in the video description. So that's the study permit. And then the next thing, of course, the temporary visa will be out within 2 weeks. If you have submitted all the required documents, you should get your study permit within 2 weeks with no issues. So when you get the 3 months temporary student permit, then you are allowed to travel to Mauritius. So they do cover your flight, but you need to have enough funds to pay for your own flight first, and then you will ask for reimbursement. It's not like they'll pay for your flight right away. So you have to book, like I booked my own flight, one-way flight to Mauritius, and then I kept the receipt and the boarding pass. Then I had to apply for reimbursement. So when you have to be careful when you book flight, please. It has to be economy and the most direct flight. You cannot go first class, business. You will not get your money. So make sure that when you receive your award letter, now you have their emails, you have their contact details. So what you need to do before you book your flight, maybe get some quotations. 3 quotations, send it to them and ask them which one you should take, so that you don't book like an over expensive flight and then you don't get all your money. So just confirm with them first, and then if they give you a go ahead, you can book the flight, keep your receipt safe and your boarding pass, and then you should be able to come in Mauritius. One big mistake that I made was to pack unnecessary stuff. Mauritius is an exotic island. The weather here is tropical. It's a good weather is an amazing weather. You don't need all the heavy clothing, all the winter stuff, because the winter here is not like super cold. It's not really extremely cold. Don't pack all those things. You buy clothes here. They have nice clothes for the island. So don't pack or just leave your stuff. You don't need all those stuff. What you need is to buy food, your local food. That's the mistake I made. I brought a lot of unnecessary stuff when I could have bought food, like local food. I could have bought food from home, because here the food is totally different from what I am used to. So instead of packing a bunch of stuff that I didn't need, that I'm no longer using here, I could have bought my local food. That would have helped a lot, because I struggled for the whole year, 2022, 2023. I struggled to adjust to the food. It was a difficult year for me. So I'm not sure if you might have the same experience as mine, or maybe for you, you might adjust faster. But if you come and you are eating food on a daily basis, and there is no sign of familiar food, then it's going to be different. And then for arrival, before you travel, you inform the university so that they can arrange transport for you. They will pick you up at the airport and then take you to your place of residence. And then accommodation, which is also important. Mauritius is a small island, so the universities here don't have like what do you call this? They don't have hostels or campus. There's no on-campus facilities. So you live off campus. You can't live on campus, especially for these public universities. I'm not sure about the private, but these public universities, there is no accommodation at school. You have to find accommodation outside of school. And you have to secure accommodation before you apply for your visa. So be very careful with when you book accommodation. I've had some students reach out to me. They've lost money to scammers, lost a lot of money to scammers. So be very careful when you are booking accommodation. Ask the university to maybe give you a list of landlords or a list of properties that they are aware of, where you can find accommodation. Sometimes the options they give you might not be the best. When I came here, I got my accommodation through the university. My first accommodation, I got it through the university. It was a reputable landlord. I got the contracts from the university. But when I got here, I was like, I had the shock of my life. I did not like the accommodation at all. I was not happy with the accommodation, so I had to move to a different location. I didn't like the location, so I had to move to a different area. So be very careful when you book accommodation. And also, you know, when you are outside the country and then you have received scholarship, you have received your visa, you get overly excited. You just want to leave the country and come here. Don't sign contracts without understanding there. So if you are not careful, you'll be bound by that contract for a whole year. Normally they do it for a whole year. You get a contract for a year for accommodation. So you need to be careful with what are the terms in that contract. Some require 3 months of rent, and then some may add some funny clause there, maybe on the increase of rental or on paying some bills and whatever. So you need to read the fine lines. You need to read. Don't be excited. You need to read and understand the contract before you sign, because you'll be bound for the whole year. Mine was also a whole year, but I had to breach the contract. I lost money. I was ready to lose money because I didn't like the accommodation. So I had to breach the contract and lose my money. I started all over again. I don't know if there are any questions so far. Or are we good? And then lastly, I'm gonna talk about living here in Mauritius. Mauritius is expensive. It's an island, and it's a tourist attraction. There are lots of tourists here in Mauritius, so a lot of the times the prices are for tourists, especially in the area where I live in. Like there's some area, when you live near the university, like the university, let's say the University of Technology, what we call Port Louis. So there, the prices are a bit. It's like if you are from Botswana, it's like the school is in Gaborone. You get it? Where I live, it's like I live in Kasane or Maung. So you know that the price in Maung is different from the price in Gaborone, because Maung is a tourist attraction. So this is where I live. The prices are quite ridiculous. It's very expensive. Like everything here is expensive because this is an island. It's far from everything. So please make sure that you have some funds when you come here. When you are selected for the scholarship, make sure that you are going to apply now. You probably get selected in May. So between now and May, make sure that you save up, have enough funds. The good thing is that the currency is low. So if you're coming from Botswana with your pula here, you are rich. So just make sure that you save up, because the stipend is not enough. And also when you get here, it's not like you receive the stipend right away. You have to open your account, send your details, maybe this be set up in their system so that you can receive your money. So you might, like for me, I received my stipend after 3 months. So because I had saved up, I was able to live off my my savings. So you need to save up, understand that it's expensive here. The cost of living here is very, very expensive. But it's a wonderful island. It's a nice island. I know, like I said earlier, nobody wakes up and say, I want to study in Mauritius. We all want to go to Europe, to America. But this is an amazing island. It's an amazing opportunity. It could be a start for you, especially maybe if you are doing masters, if you are applying for masters. You could do your masters here and then go somewhere to do your PhD, or to further your studies, or to broaden your career. So it could be a start for you. You never know, it might be a good opportunity for you. I've grown to love Mauritius. I love it here. It's wonderful. It's a good experience for me. When you live here, it's like you live. It's like you are on a long-term vacation. It's like because my PhD is 4 years, so it's like I'm on a 4-year vacation. Every day is a vacation in Mauritius, because it's an island. It's exotic, but not all areas are rural. So please don't have high expectation. Don't think the whole place looks like an island or paradise. It's not like that. There are some realistic areas with real people, not just like tourism or tourists. But it's a wonderful experience to be here. You also have the opportunity to learn French. They speak French here, and Creole. Creole is the local language, but most of the time they speak French, so you can learn French if you want. If you can't swim like me, when I came here, I couldn't swim. It's an opportunity for you to learn swimming here. So you see, there are so many things that you can get here that you wouldn't get in your home country. So, like I said, it's an amazing opportunity. It's a good opportunity. Of course, Mauritius is part of Africa. It's also set up like an African country, but it's a good country to live in. It's safe. The where I live, the crime is low. I don't worry much about my safety. It's a good area because it's a tourist area, so it's a good area. Are students allowed to work part-time? Yes, in resorts, but most of the resorts are far away from universities. So maybe in restaurants, yeah, you can find work in restaurants, or they're always actually looking for students to come work. Just that for me, I can't, guys. It's too much for me. PhD is hectic, so I don't see myself spending the whole day standing. So I can't. But you're allowed to work. I'm not working. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna take questions and comments. Just a few minutes for questions. Maybe there's something that you want to ask about the island. Maybe there's something that you want to ask about the requirements. This is your chance to ask. I'll tell you my experience. We have very few Botswana here. I want to be honest, I've never met a Botswana here. I haven't met a Botswana here for the whole year 2023, since 2022, because I came in 2022. I have never met a Botswana until only this year. I discovered that there is a group for Botswana, a WhatsApp group, and I requested to be added to it. But I still haven't met them. There are very few Botswana, but there are lots of South Africans because Mauritius is close to South Africa. So there are lots of South Africans who come and live here. Some come and retire here. So you find lots of South Africans and Europeans, a lot of Europeans. We have French. Do we find more tourists? But mostly French and Germans. You find a lot of them here. So it's a French speaking island. I'm really motivated to apply. Yeah, sure. Go ahead and apply. You never know. Maybe this is your opportunity. I said I didn't plan to come here. I saw the advert on WhatsApp and I was like, okay, because I also, like other students, wanted to go to America, to Europe. So when I saw this one, I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to apply and come and live in an island. It's a small island. It can be frustrating if you don't live, if you just live here. Like I've been here since I came in Mauritius in 2022. I haven't left the island. That's not good if you are not leaving the island. You need to live, you need to get out. For me, my passport was damaged, so I managed to renew my passport. I'm waiting for my passport from Botswana. We don't have an embassy here. The nearest embassy is in Mozambique, but I found it was easier to send my passport to Botswana. So as soon as I get my passport, I'll probably visit the nearest islands. There are some islands here like Rodrigues, Reunion, also Madagascar. Visit this island, but unfortunately, it's only flight. You can only fly to this island. I've heard that there's a boat cruise, like a ship cruise. I would rather take a flight. And so that is that, guy. That I wanted to share with you about the Mauritius Africa scholarship. A Botswana student come and join me here. I haven't met a Botswana student at the University of Technology. I haven't seen anyone. Maybe they are there. We don't know each other, but I haven't met a Botswana student here. I've met some students from South Africa, from Madagascar, Uganda, but I haven't met a fellow Botswana at my university. Okay, I'm gonna take one more question. What Tato is saying. Or it's just strictly research? At the moment, it's research. I'm not teaching. But I couldn't find because it's a small university. So I maybe my field, they don't have room for a teaching assistant. So I'm not teaching at the moment. I think it's doing. You might be able to teach, or you can apply to other universities to teach. For me, I've been focused more on scholarships. I think that's why I've been too reluctant to like get involved in like finding work or doing all those things. But should I be required to teach, then I'll have to teach. You can teach. I know another PhD student. She's doing her PhD in mathematics. So she's currently teaching as well. She's doing research and teaching. That's how it is. Or you can be a research assistant. There are always some positions available to do to be a research assistant in other universities. I'm already struggling with my own research. I am not going to struggle with somebody else's research. So I'm good. I'm good. I don't want additional stress. So no. Unless it's a requirement by my university, but otherwise, no. I'm not gonna do research assisting. It's too much work. So, any more questions before we close the session? I hope the information has helped you to decide whether you want to apply and come to Mauritius, or you continue your quest to go to Europe. There is nothing wrong with that. If you want to go to Europe, if you want to go to Canada, if you want to go to America, there are opportunities there. You can still apply and go to those countries. There are scholarships there. But if you want to be closer to home, well, it's not really close. Mauritius is far. It's like 5 hours, and the flights are super expensive. But if you want to be within Africa, then by all means, go ahead and apply for the scholarship. So I'm not going to keep you long, guys. I thank you for your participation. Tato is always engaging. He's always keeping this live session live by participating. I appreciate that. And also, Refile, you said you are truly motivated to go out there and apply. I hope that you will go ahead and apply. Like I said, I haven't met a Botswana student at my university. Hopefully, I will see you there. So thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.